Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. Hello, my beloved YouTube family. It's so good to be with you to talk about this week's astral energies, how they're playing out, how they're going to affect you. We're looking at the 14th to the 21st of May. So I will just begin by saying, if you want updates for every energy that's unfolding this week, follow along with my Instagram page. You'll get all the latest for any energetic updates as they occur and how they might affect you. You can also follow my Facebook page. I'm not as active on my Facebook page as I am on my Insta page, so it's up to you. You can follow either one, but do check things out there. Also, if you're interested in learning astrology with me, learning holistic astrology, which draws from Vedic, Hellenistic, shamanic, evolutionary, Western principles, then join me at the Royal Stars Academy. We have a wonderful group of people going through this system together with the aspiration to become certified astrologers. There is also the possibility of working with me at Guiding Star Astrology at the end of your certified course. So I'd love to have you join me here at the Royal Stars Academy. The link's in the description below. And finally, join me on my mailing list. I am gathering postal addresses at the moment should the internet go down, which is the talk of the town. It may just happen. And I just want to gather any postal addresses from people who are interested in receiving a newsletter postally from me should the internet fail in this year, 2022. So there is an email address to use in the description box that's exclusively for this purpose. I'm not responding to questions or anything on this email address, simply gathering the data for a postal mailing list. I believe Russell Brand is doing the same. A number of other people who are popular on YouTube are enacting this idea in preparation for what may happen. So the postal address is, the email address to send your name, your postal details, and your country to are kesenyapostalmail@gmail.com. So use that email, the email address. Send me your details. That will only be enacted. The postal newsletter will only be enacted if needed. Otherwise, I'm not touching that information. Okay, so keep in mind as I do this reading for you today that this is a personal reading. We are looking at the passing energies and how they're going to affect us personally, not the collective experience that we're all going through right now and what's happening geopolitically and all that sort of thing. What I'm speaking about today will be more what will affect you and how you'll feel and what you might encounter in your week ahead. So the best days this week, if you want to work with these energies, remember I'm in Australia using Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you're in other parts of the world, just compare when it's the 2nd or whatever the date may be, the 15th of May in Australia. What day is it in my part of the world? Okay, so be conscious of the void of course moon as well under this energy. Avoid instigating anything under its energy, because when we do that, when we take action, when the moon is void of course, we tend to see nothing come of our endeavors. So waste of time, waste of effort, waste of energy most of the time in most scenarios. So you can check out an app like iLuna. There are other great apps as well to figure out if the moon is void of course where you are in the world. Okay, so best days. The 15th and 16th of May are going to be a great energy, good time to progress with your ambitions and your goals and your dreams, empowering yourself, taking your power back if need be, releasing financial blocks, and addressing any psychological limitations, doing that therapeutic work to heal. If you're self-sabotaging, if you're constantly letting yourself down, this is the energy to heal that, to resolve that, and to sort of excrete that out of your behavioral process or behavioral system. It's a great energy to get involved with astrology, so come study with me at the Royal Stars Academy. It's a great energy to do any energy work, chakra healing, do a chakra dance, go and see a Reiki healer, that kind of thing. To do regression work, Robin has availability if anyone wants to work with my past life regressionist Robin, available through the Guiding Star channel as well. go to the website under the Wellness Hub page. There you'll find Robin, who does wonderful past life regression work. Hypnotherapy is particularly favorable now. So all of these things are really good to utilize under the energy that is available to us on the 15th and 16th of May. Then on the 19th and the 20th, we have a different sort of energy, but it's positive as well. It's an excellent energy for restoring health, even with small baby steps. You know, that could be something like greeting the sun, wearing gold, eating citrus fruits and yellow-colored fruits, orange-colored fruits to enhance vitality. The sun is of influence with this energy. And we may be feeling more generosity and warmth and love in abundance now because of this beautiful solar energy. Feel into that solar energy, embrace anything yellow, orange, wear yellow and orange, wear gold, do all those solar things, greeting the sun and so forth. Feel into it. Embrace the idea of carpe diem, seize the day, seek joy above all else, and you will find that there's so much benefit that comes from this beautiful energy on the 19th and 20th. And then on the 21st, we actually have a powerhouse day for strategizing and planning our life direction and our life course. Sometimes we need to review that. So it's time to do that under this energy, time to redirect our energy into things that are going to help us be more efficient and more productive in our lives. We can review our life to work out where we need to economize, where we need to insert a bit of restraint, and what we can restructure now. What we do restructure in our life can be very enduring and last with us for the long term. So, approach these sort of things with wisdom and maturity. You will get solid achievement out of restructuring your life in those ways under this influence on the 21st. And the moon is out of bounds this week for quite a few days, for the 17th to the 20th. We have the moon in an out of bounds nature, so this could really bring many unexpected and significant events into our lives now, but the rest of the week looks quite stable from this influence. So this week's energy focus, let's look now at what's unfolding in the skies. This little review includes just some of the energies that are playing out this week. If you want to know all of the energies that are unfolding this week, then head to the Instagram page and join up. Okay, firstly, on the 15th, we have the sun making a square to Saturn. Now, this is a waxing square because the sun is growing from Saturn, so to speak. Here we are, Saturn in a square to the sun, halfway, let's say, between its conjunction, the sun's conjunction with Saturn annually, to its opposition with Saturn that will occur when the sun moves through Leo this year in sort of late July, early August. So this is a feeling of constriction. We feel like lacking in confidence on this day, not really in our mojo, in our zone. It's a bit of a sucky energy, I have to say, but look, it will pass. It's only a singular day that we're feeling this exact. We might feel a little bit off the day before and the day after as well. But if you're feeling lackluster, if you're feeling like your sun vitality has been flushed down the toilet, if you need to sleep it off, feeling a bit meh, then just do so. The more acceptance we can apply to our life, the happier we are. So if you're feeling lackluster and a bit weary, have a sleep, watch a movie, read a book in bed, if you can. Or if you have to go to work, just do what you have to do to get through the day and, to feel productive without exerting yourself beyond usual measure. So maybe you're experiencing a lack of support in your life. Well, if that's the case, do something to love yourself. Get in your PJs, grab that block of chocolate, cuddle your teddy, do whatever you need to sort of give love to you if you're feeling unsupported. And if you feel like the waiting, because Saturn is to be patient and the waiting will never end, how much longer have I got to endure this difficult season of my life? Then do something to help you sort of get in touch with the good energy of the sun. That might look like stretching out on the lawn and soaking up a few rays, greeting the sun as we talked about in the best days this week. You might like to sort of fill your life with sort of beautiful things of a yellow, gold, and orange nature. I've got a gorgeous velvet yellow cushion, and maybe I could, lie on my couch with my head on my velvet yellow cushion and watch an uplifting movie or something like that. Bring in the energy of the sun in the positive on this day to help support you. Essentially, there's no point in fighting this heavy energy. The only way to dance with Saturn Sun square is to practice acceptance and patience and stoicism. Endurance is the name of the game. So find your best way to do so and be present in that. Before you know it, this energy is done and dusted for another 6 months until the sun gets around here to Scorpio and squares Saturn again. Then on May the 17th, we have a Mars conjunction here with Neptune in Pisces. Well, this is a once every 2-year transit that can cause us to be feeling quite emotionally reactive. And if the tears need to flow, because Neptune, Pisces has to do with tears, the tears need to flow, then let them. If we need to throw a vase across the room in anger, then go for it, so long as no one gets hurt. Basically, our sensitivities, they need an outlet now. Other challenges that might show up could look like a struggle to find our confidence, difficulty accessing our usual strategies for life. Mars is strategy, and so we might just be struggling to get a handle on those things at this time. We just can't seem to move forward. Mars wants to go, and Neptune makes things foggy. If you've ever driven in the fog, you'll know you can't zip down the road at 100 kilometers an hour. You have to sort of slow down when we're foggy. And that's what this energy is really all about. Slowing down, being cautious, not being too cocky, and waiting for the fog to lift. Confusion reigns. Don't worry. Just embrace the beautiful side of this energy, and you will enjoy this day. It's not all bad. Conjunctions tend to show both the shadow and the light side of particular planets. So this is the difficult side that I've just explained, but the positive side that you can throw your energy into and really focus on would be to touch base with your artsy self, your poetic side, or your your subconscious side, your spiritual side. Listen to your heart now. You might decide that you want to do some sort of spiritual physical practice like yoga, or meditating in a physical stance or something like that. You might decide Neptune is the ocean, Mars is sporty. You might decide to go for a swim in the ocean or do something in the water. Why not? That's a really good expression of this energy. Get out your paddleboard, get out your surfboard, water skis, go and have fun with water under this energy, and it can help. We also may decide that we want to actively help other people under this influence, because Neptune is to be compassionate, to be kind in its highest expression. And of course, Mars is to take action. So you might physically, actively go and give assistance to somebody in need. So get your charitable self on and make a difference on the 17th. Then on May the 19th, we have the Sun in action again. This is going to be what we're exploring in the All Signs breakdown. And this time it is a beautiful energy of a trine from the Sun. A bit of an awkward angle there, but a trine from the Sun to Pluto. And so this is, again, it's a waxing trine, but a trine is beneficial. So the Sun, since its conjunction with Pluto back in sort of December, January, has moved 5 houses away. And so it's creating this very auspicious trine that is about growth. Where we talked about the square of Saturn and the Sun, that can often bring a creative crisis into our life. The trine with the Sun and Pluto tends to bring a powerhouse of energy, potent energy for impacting others and creating a positive influence in the world. It's very much as within, so without, because Pluto is this highly psychological planet. And so our own sense of personal power is enhanced on this day, and it causes us to create powerful experiences in our external reality, as within, so without. So for some, this might look like taking their power back where they've lost it. For others, it might be to create support in their life, and maybe with male figures, to garner some support from male figures. The Sun is a masculine energy, the energy of father, the energy of king. For others, it might indicate a significant transformation. Pluto is to transform. Pluto is to rebirth and regenerate things. So something might happen for those of us with key planets around these latter degrees, 27, 28. Something might happen if we have planets in Taurus or Capricorn at 27, 28 degrees that might initiate some sort of transformation in our lives that completely redirects us, completely sends us in a brand new direction. So our vitality is at a peak with this. Whatever Pluto touches, it empowers. So it's a great time for expressing yourself, pursuing your ambitions, and best of all, for enhancing your personal joy. So something might happen that brings you more joy as well. Then on May the 21st, the Sun leaves Taurus and moves into Gemini. Time to express yourself. We use words and gestures now to help our natural charisma shine whenever the Sun is in Gemini. It's a mutable energy, so it's all about flexibility and change for the next month. So maintain your adaptability and you can't lose. This is where our thinking gets stimulated as well. In Gemini realm, we might find we're more curious than usual, or that our words seem to flow easier under this energy. Some of us might feel more restless. Gemini is a restless energy, more restless than usual too. And we might find it hard to put our feet on the ground the way we did last month when the moon was in Taurus. So, sorry, the Sun was in Taurus, not the moon. So this is a bright and breezy, non-discriminatory energy. It's just what the doctor ordered, considering what's going on in the world. Perfect for the coming days, so enjoy this one. And also on this day, we've got a conjunction here. I'll draw it on the board. Sun and Mercury come together, but Mercury is in its retrograding. It's moving backwards. So we've got a Cazimi Sun expression. Again, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but this time it's Mercury in retrograde. So not quite to the same empowerment level as it was a couple of weeks ago, and in an entirely different sign. Prior to this, it did occur in exalted Sun sign Aries. So now it's happening in Gemini, and it's not quite as powerful this time around. But you might be wanting to take a short trip with this, or, might benefit from taking a walk around the block or a sojourn to a neighboring town for a cup of coffee or something. Movement under Mercury Cazimi is a good thing to do. And Mercury's before the king of the solar system. Yes, that is the case. So our thinking can be amplified in a beneficial way. We might be thinking more quickly. We might be thinking more adaptably and more... we want to gather more information, and the universe can provide it now under this energy. So while Mercury is still retrograde, we can expect that socialization with people from our past can come up. But this time with Mercury Cazimi, it could bring a smile to our lips. So we might encounter someone from the past that'll make us very happy to revisit with them. Or at the very least, we might get, the chance to explore an old relationship in our mind and lay it to rest, perhaps. So there's a lot of things going on with this week energetically for us all. But this time, for all signs, we are actually looking at the trine from Pluto to the Sun. So let's begin. We're going to start, I think, let's start with the rulership of the Sun. The Sun rules Leo, because we've had all the planets around, sort of Pisces, Aries, Taurus for a while, and they've always gone first. So we might give Leo a bit of a chance for their day in the Sun. So this is where Pluto is going to empower the Sun. And the Sun is being empowered in the 10th house. Not only that, it is the first house lord. It rules you, Leo. First house lord in the 10th in an empowered state. What does this mean for you? Well, this is a wealth yoga. It is a union of planets, or a union of houses and planets, that brings positivity and benefit into your life. The term Raj Yoga means royal union of planets, or planet houses in this case. So you're going to feel more identified with career, with your reputation. It'll be very important to you for the duration of this day. You're going to be very focused on developing your reputation and your career goals and dreams and ambitions, and they can go very well for you. They can be highly empowered for you as well, Leo. The opportunity to lead in an area of life, or rule something is very strong and powerful for you. And we know you love that, Leo, to be in positions of leadership and governance and direction, because you are the king of the zodiac. So you may find that there is an opportunity for that to exhibit in your life. Also, the chance to be seen as a role model is very strong under this energy too. And it is the parental axis as well. This is traditionally the house of the father. Some astrologers see it as the house of the mother. It can be either, because this is the parental axis, and it kind of depends whether your mother wore the pants or not, or whether your father did. But anyhow, in the 10th house, let's use the traditional interpretation of it representing the father. And in that sense, when the sun is here, there's an empowerment to your father of some sort. Your father might be feeling very full of vitality, full of energy, full of get up and go. He might receive an opportunity of blessing under this influence too. Another thing you might notice, Leo, is that your father might be very influential upon you on this day, because the sun rules you in the house of the father. So you might find that your father might offer a suggestion to you for your life, or be there to support you in some way, and it's likely to be highly beneficial. So do pay attention if your father is providing that for you. It could be for your greater benefit. All right, so moving from Leo, we go to Virgo. Virgo rising, sun or moon. Screw up my arrow there. The energy of the sun being empowered by a trine from Pluto is falling in the most auspicious house, the 9th house. But this, Virgo, is your 12th house lord sitting in the 9th house, empowered by Pluto. So what does this mean? Well, both, generally speaking, the 12th house and the 9th house have associations with Jupiter, luck, blessing, expansion, optimism. So this is likely to be empowered for you, as well as the spiritual components of these two houses. They are going to be amplified. There's a light shining on your spiritual world at this time. Your connection to the divine can be strong. Messages that you get from the heavenly realms can come through loud and clear. You might be getting omens and signals from the divine that really lead you forward. So listen to what your instincts are telling you, what your gut is saying, because it won't lead you wrong under this influence. It's a powerful force for good in your life now. It is a combination for getting some insight into the future. If you think about the 9th house, its association with the sign of Sagittarius and the imagery of Sagittarius, the centaur shooting his arrow forward off out to the horizon. It's looking ahead. So you may get, because this is such a spiritually aligned combination, you might get a vision for the future. You might have a dream that reveals something about what's upcoming, what's unfolding. You might just get a sense, like a goosebump moment, or an inner knowing about something that's going to happen, something good for you in your life, some blessing that's about to unfold. So listen to those things and trust those things. If you are traveling, if you're going to another culture, or if you're studying some sort of high level academia, you might be studying astrology with me. That would be wonderful. Or you might be at a university studying law or medicine, those sorts of things. If you are doing those things, traveling or studying in some way, this is when you can get profound insights, aha moments, light bulbs going off, and goosebump moments. It's very, very empowering, this combination. So when you're traveling, you could say, you might see something and it triggers in you a sudden awareness and a sudden knowledge, a sudden gnosis, a sudden knowing. And the same goes for if you're studying. Because the 12th house is past lives as well, it's possible that if you are traveling under this influence on this day and the empowerment coming from Pluto, you might visit somewhere that you lived in a past life. And when you feel like someone's walked across your grave, you get the chills. It's kind of like that kind of experience. Hang on, I've been here before. There's deja vu. This is so familiar to me. You could encounter a situation like that that's really quite profound and mystical, and somehow there's an unraveling of karma that's available in doing that too. So quite exciting for Virgo people in that sense. For Libra rising, sun or moon people, the energy of the sun being empowered by Pluto on this day, we're talking here the 19th of May, The energy is falling in between your 3rd and your 8th house. But the key here is that the sun is the ruler of your 11th house. So it's the 11th house Lord being in the 8th house that is what is being empowered by Pluto's aspect. This is telling you that you can profit and achieve and gain on this day from 8th house mechanisms, from talking to an astrologer, getting an astrology reading on this day, or speaking with a psychic or a tarot card reader. You can profit and achieve and gain perhaps through some energy healing that you undertake, or a past life regression, or some hypnosis, which are all 8th house things as well. Getting involved in hidden mysteries, esoterica, the occult. These sorts of activities can reveal things that allow you to go forward and achieve in life and accomplish your dreams somehow. So you might get some sort of mysterious hidden wisdom that comes to you. I've got to also point out that the 8th house is a challenging house in some traditions of astrology. And the 8th house being activated in this way by a very positive house, the 11th house, can see us having a crisis that leads to a benefit in our life. Something unfolds, it turns our life around 180 degrees, but as a result, we are far better off. So Libra, this could be very, very exciting. It could be, the 11th house is the stock market, and this is the house of rewards and gains from people that aren't you, your own, like maybe your stockbroker has invested well for you and you get a grand result under this influence. So it's very much connected to windfalls that come from other people that's being activated here. It could also look potentially like an inheritance, but not an inheritance so much from the family, but an inheritance from maybe a friend or an organization or a group, which are 11th house people. Some sort of benefactor leaves an inheritance for you or gives you a windfall. And I'm not just talking about money. It could be, you inherit something else. Could be a tangible item, because this is the property of other people as seen through the 8th house. Could be a tangible item like a necklace or theater tickets or something like that. You could inherit some blessing materially. But I come back to the idea of crisis, and it could be through a divorce. 8th house is divorce, that you receive some sort of profit and gain. This might unfold for you on this day. If you've been dealing with a divorce and going through the rigmarole of trying to sort out property division and what have you, this could be the day when things wind up and you get a nice slice of the pie, shall we say. That's just one example of a crisis. Obviously, crises occur in many and varied forms. The last thing I want to say about this, Libra, is if you are in need of money to sort of do some sort of venture, this is a very auspicious day to launch a crowdfunding campaign. You might like to, I don't recommend GoFundMe because of what they did to people in Canada, which was a disgrace. But if there are other sites that aren't so evil, then by all means, look at crowdfunding to support a project. Leo is creativity. The sun is creativity. To support some creative venture of yours, you may like to crowdfund and launch it under this very powerful help assistance from Pluto to the sun, your 11th house lord in the 8th. All right, thank you, Libra. Now for our Scorpio friends. Scorpio rising, sun or moon. This energy is falling for you in the 7th house, but we're getting an empowerment by trine from Pluto to our sun. However, the sun is our 10th house lord, and so what we're seeing here activated and empowered by Pluto's energy is the 10th house lord in the 7th. What does that mean? Well, it's telling us that in some empowered way, Pluto's aspect, that your career is going to be very dependent on your partnerships and collaborations that unfold on this day. The clients that you meet, maybe the bosses that you encounter in your work life, or it could even be your business partners. Maybe even your marriage might have some bearing on this day regarding your career and your career success in the world and your reputation in the world as well. This is a day when you can actually make very auspicious connections with people who are going to really empower you in the future. So pay attention to who you meet and who you interact with. You might be sitting on the train going to work and you plonk down in the only spare seat, happens to be next to someone else. You have no idea who they are, but if you strike up a conversation, be friendly, make an acquaintanceship, lo and behold, it turns out to be someone who could transform and change your life through some collaboration, some sort of group, like connection project that takes you to the next level. Pluto empowerment of your career through encounters with other people. So it always pays to be kind to strangers, doesn't it? And this is a day for doing that. Of course, the 7th house has to do with our partnerships too. So it's not just how our partners affect us, but it's actually about our partners, our marriage partner, our business partner. And because the 10th house is 4 houses from the 7th, what this can mean when it's empowered by an aspect from Pluto is that your partner might be dealing in real estate, signing a real estate contract, doing some property development, working on a garden, maybe doing a bit of home farming or something like that, or doing some homesteading or something. There is this energy of 4th house that your partner might be heavily involved with because of this combination as well. We're also seeing that the ruler of the 10th house is located 10 houses, boom, from its natal rulership. And so this is very empowering for success in career, success with reputation, and also our spouse can be very influential upon those things too. So enjoy this energy, guys. It's going to be good for you, Scorpio, out there in the world. Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people, well, we are seeing this beautiful Leo energy falling for you in a difficult house, the 6th house. But there's empowerment coming from Pluto in a trine to the sun. The key here, though, on the 19th of May is the fact that the sun rules your blessed 9th house, Leo. So we've got the 9th house Lord in the 6th house with an auspicious trine from Pluto. My goodness, Sagittarius, this is very helpful if you've been dealing with a crisis, if you've been dealing with a conflict, some animosity, a difficult situation that feels imbalanced and out of control, situations that feel frustrating and tense and awkward and difficult. You have empowerment on this day to resolve things, to sort things out and set them to rights. The 9th house is the house of blessing going into the house of difficulties. So divine blessing can come to your aid now to sort out problems, especially when the sun is empowered by Pluto like this. It may be your dharma on this day, your purpose on this day, to resolve something in your life, but also to be of service to other people. How can you help? How can you heal? How can you fix? Look for ways to be humble and give assistance wherever you can, because that is going to be a very blessed thing to do. It's going to be a great way to burn your karma. Good things can result from your humility and from your acts of service. So do make sure you keep your eyes peeled for how you can help in any way, shape or form. Give up your seat on the train for the old lady who gets on. Nobody does that anymore. What's wrong with society? My Libran liking for politeness really is suffering in this day and age, I have to say. You hold a door open for someone and nobody says thank you anymore. I'm sick of it. There's my rant. But Sagittarius people, doing those things for others, regardless of their response, is very, very good on this day for resolving karma and being ultimately blessed. If you're unwell, there can be luck that comes in finding a practitioner to help you and heal you on this day. Mainstream or alternative methods, both are very applicable. You can also be blessed through your employees if you are an employer because of this combination. So you might find that, an employee brings something special for morning tea and everybody feels in a really good mood and it makes the people more productive, and you know how it goes. Or an employee could just really score a big win for your company or whatever it is that you run, and it's all big thumbs up everywhere. So, there's blessing that is available with this, even though it is a difficult house, the 6th house. I've mentioned how people can be very blessed by your acts of service on this day, but you too can be blessed by people in service to you. You go to the coffee shop and order your morning coffee and they give you a bonus. The people in service at the coffee shop say, oh, look, instead of a regular, here's a large. We just like your patronage so much. Here's our thanks. It's those kinds of blessings from people in positions of service to us that can really make our day too. Wherever the ninth house Lord goes can make the themes of that house luckier. And of course, in such a difficult position, this is exactly what we need. It's through our prayers that we can resolve debt. It's through our prayers that we can resolve a lack of knowledge. Mind you probably need to go read a few books as well. But, we can pray for the right avenues to increase our knowledge if we're feeling like we're not educated enough or as much as we would like to be. It's through our prayers for the blessing of the divine that we can overcome the limitations of earthly life, because this is the house of our mundane earthly life. So Sagittarius, you're spiritually oriented, most of you. Pray, seek divine guidance, trust in the blessing from the divine, have faith in the divine being able to sort out your issues of disbalance and imbalance in your life. This is an energy that's going to empower you to do that, to pray, but also empower you to find solutions and fix things that are out of whack. I love it. All right, Capricorn rising, sun or moon people. Beautiful energy for you, the sun being trined by Pluto in your first house. Very, very empowered sun position or sun day. This though is not what we're going to look at so much. More so, we're going to look at the fact that the sun rules your 8th house and is sitting in the 5th house. 8th house Lord in the 5th, empowered by Pluto. This is actually an indication that on this day, the 19th of May, you might receive a big transformation of your love life and your love relationships for the good, for the higher good. Big dramatic turns around with some love relationships. If you've been having struggles with your love life or your sex life or your relationship life, this day could see things turn on a dime. Very quick, very fast, because of the 8th house Lord empowered by Pluto in the 5th house of love. Some of you, not everybody, but some of you, depending on your chart, may actually receive some surprise information about a pregnancy on this day. The house Lord of pregnancy, Lord of pregnancy here, the 8th house Lord is the Lord of pregnancy and conception going into the house of children, amplified and empowered by Pluto. Some of you who have been wanting to get pregnant, this might be good news. You could certainly try for a baby on this day. I'm not going to guarantee that everyone's going to get pregnant if that's what you're wanting, because it all depends very much on your natal chart. However, this is a supportive energy for having a go. And why not? Who wouldn't want to have a go? It's lots of fun. The firstborn child is seen from the 5th house as well, and so when this energy is activated in this way, it can mean good things for your firstborn child. They might, receive the lead role in the school play, or they might, get some award at school or something, or get a scholarship. There can be some powerful empowering and activation that occurs in the life of your firstborn child. Any planet in the 5th house automatically becomes luckier, and this includes the rulers of malefic houses like the 8th house. So yay, more blessing is available now during this time of this transit for 8th house matters. So, getting involved in mysticism and occult practices, regression therapy, any type of therapy actually, art therapy, music therapy, dance therapy, these can all be extremely empowering and very lucky and beneficial in some way for you. The 5th house is also the house of good karma from past lifetimes, and with the 8th house Lord being here, just by transit, not in the natal chart, but by transit, it can mean we have a little bit of a dabbling with some lucky karma that might look like an inheritance or a legacy. Could just mean that your nana gives you her velvet evening dress because, she can't fit into it anymore and she treasured it back in, the 70s or whenever it was that she wore it. And, she leaves it to you. She gives it to you. She's not passed on yet, but she's giving you a legacy. She's giving you an inheritance that can feel very beautiful. And, of course, 5th house is glamour, so why wouldn't you receive a beautiful velvet evening dress from your grandma? Another good thing that can come of this is that if you have a stockbroker who manages your money, that's what the 8th house is all about, people who manage other people's money, you might find that there is a chance to sort of gain from risky ventures on this day. Your stockbroker might place some really good deals for you and you can end up being, very empowered financially. It is kind of a lucky combination because this is the house of windfalls. It's a financial house, a material house, going into the house of luck. Capricorn, go out on this day and buy yourself a Tats Lotto ticket. Why not? Lucky, ventures, lucky sort of, what am I trying to say? Gambling. There's another word that I'm looking for. Speculations can be empowered by Pluto for you on this day because the Sun is the ruler of your 8th house of windfalls. So why not? And if you're into creative projects and what have you, and creative hobbies, then on this day your hobbies are likely to have a more mystical tone, a darkness to them, a sort of a deep dark undercurrent running through maybe the art that you produce or the poem that you write or the story that you concoct for your next novel. There could be dark undertones that exhibit if you are working with this energy. And if you want that, then why not use this energy to create, the next Agatha Christie novel for this decade, for this century. So thank you, Capricorn. We are now looking at Aquarius, rising sun or moon people, and we are seeing that the energy of the sun is falling for you in the 4th house, amplified by and empowered by a trine, a beautiful aspect from Pluto. But the sun is the ruler of the 7th house. And so what we're really seeing here is an amplification, an empowerment of the 7th house lord being by transit in the 4th house. So this could indicate that your spouse, 7th house, might be working from home at this time on this day, might be getting involved in some sort of real estate deals or land development, might be getting involved in maybe some sort of a garden or renovation of the home, might be working on some renovation issues around the home, might be more involved in the domestic life if you have a partner. That can also be how it manifests as well. If you're single, it might be that through some collaboration, through some joint venture, you're able to get a home or buy a property or develop a garden or do these things I've just spoken about. But it may not be with a spouse. It could be with somebody who goes in with you. Like, you go in with your best friend to buy a property because its property prices are so expensive now. Like, who can afford to buy land on their own? So you go in with a partnership that's going to make you money, and a business partner is seen here in the 7th house. And it might be that you go in a business partnership to make money through land development, property, domestic services, growing things, mining is also seen through the 4th house. So all of these things can prove lucrative. This is also the house of the maternal grandmother. So it's entirely possible that your maternal grandmother might be empowered in your life or present in your life, or you might, if she's deceased, you might be feeling her presence in your life more strongly under this influence on this day. The empowerment of Pluto, especially coming from the house of past ancestors, 12th house, can make your maternal grandmother feel strangely close. You might smell her, you might get a sense that she's very near. That's likely to be the case. And there's something about the heritage, the roots, the lineage, the genetic past of your spouse that will be very important if you're married, be very important to you on this day. It could be that your spouse discovers not some hidden secret, but maybe they discover an old photograph of one of their ancestors. It's very precious, it's very beautiful, and it just fills your spouse with joy or your partner with joy. There is this energy of those who've gone before that's very strongly amplified for your partners on this day, Aquarius people. And that is because of firstly the 7th house lord being in the 4th, but also being amplified by Pluto in the 12th house. All right, Pisces rising sun or moon people. What does this hold for we Pisces people? Well, the sun is in our 3rd house at the moment, aspected most beneficially from Pluto in the 11th house of rewards and gains. That sounds very nice. But the key here is that the sun is the 6th house lord sitting in the 3rd house. That's what's going to be amplified by Pluto's aspect. It's a difficult combination, I have to say, Pisces. But the amplification by Pluto, the empowerment by Pluto will give you what you need to sort out any issues. And some of those issues might be conflicts, sixth house, with siblings, run-ins with siblings or neighbors, sort of a bit of animosity with people that we don't choose to be in our life but are in our life. You know, our siblings, even our parents are people we don't choose to be in our life but they are in our lives, our neighbors, people in our community. So we might have some conflicts, but they're able to be resolved amiably thanks to Pluto's beautiful benefic aspect. The third house is the house of our thinking, and with the sixth house lord in the third, our mental state might be one of worry. We might be thinking a lot about, you know, where life is out of balance and worrying about that, and do we have enough money to pay the bills and all that stuff. But the good news is that Pluto's empowering aspect can again help ease that mental overload and support us to empower our mind to cope with our worries. So let's face it, we all have worries. But we have the empowered mind, third house, to deal with our worries and our concerns. Our neighbors, our siblings might also have some worries and concerns because of this energy. So it might not be that we are receiving worrying conflict from them. It could be that they are having some heavy duty things to have to deal with, which would behove us to act with kindness and grace to these people in our lives. If you like to write or speak or communicate in any kind of way, your focus on this particular day might be on injustice. Where is there injustice in the world? Where is there injustice in your life? Why don't you write and speak about it? You're very empowered to do so. In fact, I believe from recollection that Charles Dickens had this combination natally in his chart. And what were all his books about? They were about the injustices of the industrial society, told in a story form. So this is a day for empowerment of being able to undertake those sorts of endeavors. And who knows, you could be the next Charles Dickens if you instigate maybe a story writing frenzy under this influence. You might also be writing, speaking, or communicating about other sixth house things like diet, nutrition, health, well-being. These are great things to undertake. You might also, simply, it could be an energy where you download an app, a fitness app or a diet app or something like that to help you get, or a budgeting app that helps you get back in balance with those things. The highest expression of the sixth house, and the expression that helps us burn our karma the most, is service. So you might be able to be, like Charles Dickens was, I've already used him as an illustration, you might be able to be of service to the world through some sort of writing, speaking, communicating. And of course, with the empowerment from the humanitarian 11th house, you might use like a crowdfunding source, you might use a humanitarian organization or group to focus on writing some article for, or gathering support for, or generating awareness for, in order to alleviate some sort of imbalance in the world. So you can use those energies for good in that way. The third house is small businesses. Fortunately, if there's debt, sixth house debt, with your small business, or something's out of balance with your small business in some way, Pluto's going to help empower you to find a solution and to fix and resolve the issue. That's on the 19th of May. Thank you, Pisces. Now, Aries rising, sun or moon people. The energy of the sun is falling in your second house, amplified and empowered by Pluto's trine in a beneficial way. But the key here is that the sun is the ruler of your fifth house in the second house. Very auspicious. I love this. This is the house of fortune going into the second house of resources and materiality. Brilliant energy, empowered by Pluto on this day. Love it. You can have good fortune. You might win the lottery, so maybe go buy a lottery ticket under this energy. It's very beneficial. Of course, you'd need some good things in your own natal chart as well for that to happen, but why not? Have some fun with it, Aries. But really, the fortune comes to your savings. You might have had you might have forgotten about a savings account that you started years ago, and suddenly you remember on this day, and it's like, my goodness, now, I've got these thousands of dollars in a savings account I'd forgotten that I had. I feel so empowered. Thank you, Pluto. Empowered financially. You'll also have an amplified sense of creative intelligence regarding how to deal with second house things, such as where to invest your money, what things you can do to save money, to grow your money, to keep your money in a favorable manner. So you will have a lot of creative intelligence that will be amplified. Fifth house is creative intelligence in the house of money, aspected well by Pluto. And you might get your creative juices flowing with a bit of cooking on this day, using food, or with sewing, the things that we need, our food, our clothes, the gardens that we have, or the homes that we live in, and how they appear. These tangible items get a good dose, an empowered dose of creative intelligence. You might get an aha moment, how to arrange the furniture in that room that's that funny shape and it never seems to flow well, never seems to work well. Boom, on this day you get that insight. Or you need an outfit for a certain event. This is the house of clothing. A resource that we have is clothing, and you get some sort of creative idea for an outfit that you can create or make to wear to a certain event that you're going to, perhaps. Or maybe you have to make a birthday cake and you get some inspiration that's highly creative for how to tackle that very complex cake that you need to make, or dessert that you need to make under this influence. Of course, the fifth house has to do with enjoyment and socializing and sort of going out into the world. And in the second house of food and so on, you might be enjoying a lot more, sensual kind of experiences out there, going to a restaurant, for example. Or you might go out for dinner and then go out to a concert, which is very much the nature of this combination, and just having more pleasure, more fun, more joy and delight in what you're experiencing on this day. Lots of nice stuff for you, Aries. Taurus rising, sun or moon people. The energy of the sun is in your first house, and it's getting a very amplified trine from Pluto. But the key here is the fact that the sun rules the fourth house. So the fourth house lord in the first, by transit, is what is being amplified. This is an energy for having a strong identification with something of a domestic nature. Your home, your domestic life, land, property, real estate, being a farmer, being a gardener. You might strongly identify with those things. There's also a strong identification that you might be experiencing on this day with your heritage, your roots, your lineage. You might be called on, you might be calling upon your past to support who you are now in some way. And when I say past, your genetic family heritage, not your personal karmic past. So, you might be invited out to dinner and it's a potluck or something like that, and you are like, what am I going to take that's really different and interesting? So you decide you're going to make a special dish from Crete, which is where you hail from, or your family lineage is from. So you make something special and unique, and you identify yourself on this day with your family lineage. And that's very empowered by Pluto energy. Another thing that can be highly amplified by Pluto's aspect in a positive way to the sun can be your sense of security in the world, because the fourth house is how we feel secure and safe in the world, where we can put down roots. And Pluto can help you, first house, you Taurus, feel like you're safe, feel like you're secure in where you are at in the world. I like that combination. I think that's a very empowered one. So the feeling when you've been out for a walk or something, you come home, you see your house, and you're like, my house. It might not be perfect, but it's my home, and you feel an identification with it. But you also feel this sense of security in where you're at in life. That's actually quite beautiful. Pluto can amplify perhaps a need to protect or defend something under this influence. So somebody might criticize your family, and you might get your feathers in a ruffle and step into your family's defense in some way, Taurus, under this influence. The fourth house lord being all about security and happiness in the first house might say that on this day you might be getting your security and happiness actually from who you are, your identity in the world, and your trust in yourself. And that can be amplified because of Pluto. You might have a strong sense of, I know who I am and I like who I am. And so that gives you a sense of stability in the world, which can be absolutely beautiful. You might also get a sense of security and stability through your physical health and vitality as well. You might be out there jogging and feel like I can take on the world. Woo! That kind of energy can give you a sense of inner security, inner personal strength. I'd also add, Taurus, that having a beautiful appearance can give you a sense of inner strength on this day, and Pluto will amplify maybe not so much your self-worth, but your liking for your appearance that gives you a sense of personal happiness and satisfaction. So now Gemini, thank you for sticking with us, Gemini. We're almost at the end of our sojourn around the horoscope. And we're seeing the sun in your 12th house, but it's not about the sun being in the 12th house. It is actually that is being amplified by Pluto's trine. More so, it is about the fact that the 3rd house lord is in the 12th house, and that's what's being amplified by transit and Pluto aspect. Well, this can indicate, because the 3rd house is the house of the mind in the 12th house of loss, that we could be a bit forgetful on this day. Forget where we put the car keys, forget what we said to that person, forget how I've kind of got this combination in a way in my chart. And the other day I was talking to a friend, and I'm like I cannot remember why in the northern hemisphere you need to face south to get the sunlight, and in the southern hemisphere you need to face north to get the sunlight, when you're talking about house orientation. And I just, for the life of me, could not remember why astronomically that was a thing. And this is something I know like the back of my hand, but I lost that mental capacity. This is an example of kind of something that might occur for you on this day through this combination. We can be vague, we can be forgetful, but hey, it's just a passing energy, not a permanent one for you guys. So just roll with it, Gemini. That said, I would be careful with contracts and with documents just the same, simply because you don't want to lose the documents. You don't want to lose that important signature. So I wouldn't be signing any contracts or documents under this energy, even though it's not a bad energy in and of itself. It's just not worth the risk. It's also possible that other people might deceive you. This is the shadow side of the 12th house, is deception, to have the wool pulled over your eyes in some way. And regarding a contract that could occur, so don't even bother. It's not worth it. Just give it a day or two till this energy's over. It is a really good combination if you want to use your imagination and put that in writing in some way. If you want to be the next, I don't know, Tolkien or something, this is a super energy, an empowered energy to maybe start that fantasy novel that you've always dreamed of writing, or maybe that novel about sort of hidden mysteries or something like that could be very beneficial too. If you have to communicate, you might, like writing an article or writing an email or something, you might be theming your article or your email on 12th house ideas of spirituality, healing, creativity, or isolation and loneliness could form themes and topics of what you're writing about. It's also a really good combination to do some regression work, because regression work, which is a mental thing, hypnotizing the mind so that we can go back into deep subconscious patterns, very supported by this energy. If you need a past life regression, today is your day, the 19th of May, where we've got this aspect from Pluto, which is causing it to be, and coming from the 8th house of past life regression work as well. Very strong connection for empowerment and getting messages from the past, from our regressed state with this combo. But in the positive, you may be just thinking more romantically, thinking more dreamily, more sort of daydreams, more sort of off in the clouds, head in the clouds. Why not? And indulge in that, like go and get yourself a cup of tea and lie on the back lawn and stare up at the clouds and let your mind wander. Enjoy this mental reprieve, this mental tapping out from the everyday, ordinary realm, because that's what this energy is all about. And it can just, it may not bring you a great fortune or the love of your life, but it can bring a lot of joy just to be present and allow that energy to flow through you. And finally, thank you for sticking till last, our lovely Cancer, rising, sun or moon people. We are seeing the sun fall in your auspicious 11th house. But the thing is, this is not just about the trine from Pluto to the sun in the 11th house, but rather the fact that the sun rules your 2nd house and sits in the 11th house and is getting amplified and empowered by Pluto's aspect. So on the 19th of May, what I love about this is that it is a wealth yoga, a combination for prosperity, a combination for receiving good things. I love this. I love this. In fact, I know somebody with planets at these points who is going to benefit from this great combination. So on this particular day, there's an amplification of our ability to network and connect, to meet people who are going to benefit our lives and bring more profit and gain into our lives. So we've got this highly active, socialized side that is going to cause us to perhaps raise our material situation in life. Equally, by involving ourselves in maybe investments that have no hierarchy. The 11th house is no hierarchy. So getting involved in like the stock market or investing in something on the internet and so on, or Bitcoin or whatever, you can actually have an empowered result because of Pluto's trine to the second house lord in the 11th house. This is also, the 11th house is the house of fulfilling desires. And so we may see, the second house is the house of fulfilling desires. We may see that the money provides us with the ability to fulfill our desires in some way on this day. So you may receive the money, and Pluto is the ancient god of great wealth, coming from the seventh house of other people. Someone may provide you with the money to achieve your dreams and desires. Wouldn't that be nice? It's also a combination for receiving material support in life from an older sibling as well. This is the house of an older sibling. If you have an older sibling, they might be coming to your aid with some support of some sort, particularly of the material variety, but also they might be uplifting your self-worth. That's another way this can express. They might be helping you to feel good about yourself and what you've achieved in life and who you are, because the house of self-worth is the second house, gone into to the 11th house, the house of the older sibling, who can help uplift your sense of value and self-worth. So there is a lot going on this week, guys. It has been such a pleasure to sojourn through the sky with you and see what's unfolding. I hope it's a blessed week for you all, and I look forward to having another Astro Weather Report for you next week. I'll catch you then.